name is Christian Heckstrom, and I'm here to discuss my topic on veganism.
Yeah. Oh.
Vegan. When people hear this word, they may think of this guy, a stereotypical hippie, you know, the save the animals man, or this person, an airheaded valley girl on a strict diet and can only have water if it's 0 calories. Well, actually, vegans, they're just like you and me. Yet, some people think they're completely ridiculous for choosing upon themselves not to eat bacon and eggs, In-N-Out burger, or ice cream. Like, who chooses not to eat ice cream? But in reality, vegan diets are brilliant in ways they can help the environment. I wanted to know how a vegan diet can benefit the environment. And by environment, I mean the climate, the water use, the land, and the community. First, let's start with let's start with the climate. Quote by Kirk R. Smith, an environmental professor at California, Berkeley, who was interviewed in a documentary called Cowspiracy, stated, "If everyone stopped using oil and gas entirely, we'd see those effects in 100 years or so. But if every person were to go vegan, we'd see those effects within decades." He's right, because animal agriculture is completely screwing us over and no one's aware. Greenhouse gases, in a simple definition, is global warming caused by carbon dioxide, nitrous oxide, methane, and fluorinated gases. When I first searched greenhouse gas emissions, this was one of the first things that came up. But that's not the main cause. The main cause, as a matter of fact, is animal agriculture. 51% of all greenhouse gases are from animal agriculture. This is true because millions of animals in the industry are pooping every day. As a matter of fact, every minute, 7 million pounds of excrement are produced by animals raised for food in the United States alone. And in all that waste is nitrous oxide emissions. And nitrous oxide only contains 5% of all greenhouse gases, but yet it's 296 times more destructive than carbon dioxide. It just so happens that animal agriculture is responsible for 65% of all nitrous oxide emissions. The next is water. In a book I read, A Diet for a New America, the author John Robbins stated that in the U.S., 5% of all water use is domestic, meaning showers, washing machines, dishwashers, etc., while animal agriculture is 55% of all water use in the United States. That's because each and every animal in the food industry is not only drinking water, but they're also eating plants that are also given water as well. That's basically explaining why 1/3 of all Earth's fresh water is used in the meat and dairy industry. Our global rainforests are basically our Earth's lungs, taking in carbon dioxide and releasing oxygen. Kind of sad that an acre a second is destroyed, and the leading cause is, you guessed it, animal agriculture. As a matter of fact, animal agriculture is responsible for 91% of the Amazon's destructions. Livestock is also currently covering 45% of Earth's total land because of how much space they need. Let's take 1.5 acres of land, or 1.5 acres of land. With that much, you can make 37,000 pounds of plant-based food, or just 375 pounds of meat. Also, if you were to give a vegan an amount of year for a year to see how long they would live for and used just that amount of land for food, they would only need 1/6 of an acre. Have the same situation for a meat eater, and they would need 18 times more acres than the vegan. So, Madeline, when you were doing your project on starvation, did you ever find information on how animal agriculture is affecting it?
You said that we could make more food.
Yeah. Well, because I personally think it'd be important, because right now we have enough food to feed 10 billion people. Right now. Because the reason we aren't feeding these people is because at least 50% of grain worldwide is fed to livestock. And 82% of starving children live in countries where food is given to animals, and those animals are eaten by more well-off individuals in developed countries, like the United States, United Kingdom, and Europe. Every year, the world's human population eats 21 billion pounds of food, while the world's 1.5 billion cows alone, just cows, are eating 135 billion pounds of food a year. Now, after hearing all of this information, I challenge you not to eat as much meat, but rather go for something that doesn't fuck up our world. We can make a difference simply by eating less products and replacing them with plants, or what an article called The Guardian says, meat alternatives. So plant some shit, and maybe think twice before eating that burger. Thank you.